Good evening. My name is Christina Murray, and I'll be answering Chapter 4, Chapter Assignment Question Number 1, which deals with marketing to families and the interpersonal and personal factors that are involved. Before we delve into the question, I would like to do a brief summary of Chapter 4 in relation to Question Number 1. There are a variety of topics discussed in this chapter, but for this specific question, we'll be focusing on behavior of individuals, which breaks down into two categories. The first category being personal factors, which are the psychological characteristics of an individual that influences their behavior. There are 6 components under personal factors. Those components are needs, wants, and motivation, perception, learning, personality, lifestyle, and self-concept. The second category is interpersonal factors, which are said to be more objective and accurate than those that are received from hospitality and travel organizations. There are 5 components under interpersonal factors. Those components are culture, reference groups, social classes, opinion leaders, and family. As you probably have noticed, certain components are red. This just means I'll be using those specific components to answer the question later on in the presentation. Let's move along and look at the question. It is truly a 3-part question that has you pull apart each theory and then at the end combine them back together to make a solid, valid point. The question reads, take a close look at yourself and your family. What interpersonal factors affect the buying decisions made by members of the family? What personal factors tend to influence these choices? How could a hospitality and travel organization effectively appeal to you and other members of your family? As I said before, it is truly a 3-part question, but I shall go into further detail about that later on in the presentation. Before we begin to answer the question, I would like to quickly review some key terms. The first 2 terms are interpersonal factors and personal factors. We've already briefly discussed what these factors entail, but I would like to give the book definition before we move any further along. According to the book, an interpersonal factor is defined as the outside influence of other people on customer behavior, including factors such as culture and subcultures, reference groups, social classes, opinion leaders, and family. The next term, which we've already briefly discussed, is personal factors, the psychological characteristics of an individual that influence their behavior. In layman's terms, this basically means that the characteristics that make you you, and or the characteristics that make you and how you the characteristics affect your decision-making process. The next 2 terms are perception and psychographic. The formal definition of perception is the mental process customers employ using their 5 senses: sight, hearing, tasting, touch, and smell, to size up hospitality and travel services in the industry's promotional message. The last key term that I shall review is psychographic. The development of psychological profiles of customers and psychologically based measures of distinctive modes of living or lifestyle is the book definition of psychographic. This basically states that companies create profiles that differentiate clients based on their psychological decisions. Let's return to the question. As I said before, this is a 3-part question, and I will be addressing it as such. To do a quick recap before we begin answering the questions, the 3 parts of the question are: A. Interpersonal factors that affect the buying decisions made by family members. B. Personal factors that influence these choices. And C. How a hospitality or travel organization can effectively appeal to my family and I. Let's begin with Part A. Interpersonal factors that affect the buying decisions made by family members. My mother, Henrietta, is the opinion leader in our household, meaning that she becomes an expert on any city before my family ever arrives. When my mother is researching the location, she uses three main interpersonal factors. The first factor is family. These are decisions that are made specifically because of the characteristics and background of my family. We have a large family of 6. This means that wherever we go, there has to be room to transport and sleep all of us comfortably. Another point falling under family is lift. Lift, put in simplistic terms, is the ability to get in and out of a city. Lift is extremely important to my family due to the fact that my brother and I are in college, my sisters are in middle school, and my dad owns his own company. My family can literally not afford to get stuck in a city because it has poor lift and we cannot leave. The final point that falls under family is cost effective. My mom tries her best to make sure that we get the best experience in any city for our dollar. The next interpersonal factor is culture. Everyone has specific attributes that derive from their culture. The first one that my mom looks at is safety. In America, we value safety very much. Because of that, when we travel, my mom tries to make sure that wherever we're going is as safe as possible. The other point under culture for our family is local visitor relations. Americans don't always have the best image around the world, so my mom makes it a point to understand how Americans are treated wherever we go. The final interpersonal factor that my family uses is social classes. My father owns his own successful project management company. Due to the success of his company, we were able to travel at a higher class. My mom is also an amazing cook. So when we travel, we look for food that is delicious and of high quality. We also look for entertainment that not only entertains us, but teaches us something as well. Moving on to the second part of the question. B. Personal factors that influence these choices. The personal factor components that affect the overall buying decision for my family are learning, personality, perception, and finally needs, wants, and motivations. Under learning falls the point of cleanliness in relation to accommodations. Over the years, my family has learned through multiple experiences that cleanliness is the key to happiness when it comes to hotel accommodations. That sometimes the extra dollar is worth a good night's rest. Under personality is education. My family and I are very much into education and learning. So if something is fun and we learn something as well, then we are having a great time. Under perception falls scenic. Like most individuals, we want to see something pretty. If the location is scenic, my family is more likely to show up and enjoy it. Finally, under needs, wants, and motivations, we have budget conscious. If we could, we would do everything possible in a location. But we know that we have a budget and that we must fulfill all of our needs and then some of our wants. Let's continue on to the third part of the question, Part C. How a hospitality or travel organization can effectively appeal to my family and I. Let's first take a look at Norwegian Cruise Lines. There is nothing my family loves to do more than go on a cruise. To plan, purchase, and orchestrate our cruise, my mom goes straight to NCL's website. What usually catches my mom's eye are the deals that involve family suites, as well as meal and beverage packages, and deals for off-boat excursions that fit our family and have great offers. NCL's website also does an amazing job at selling their boats. They use vivid colors and word-of-mouth statements to back up their claims about the scenic views, safety on board, fascinating entertainment, and fun onboard activities that the whole family can get involved in. Another website that does an amazing job at marketing towards families about the size of mine is Tourism Vancouver. On our recent trip to Vancouver, my mom used the website for Tourism Vancouver to plan our trip. Tourism Vancouver operates quite similarly to Visit Denver. The website itself applied to all of the senses and presented a city that was safe, fun, and attractive. It advertised exquisite food and unusual dining experiences, hotels with enough space for our family fun activities, and tours that connected visitors with the city. Through the advertising and marketing attributes on the website, my mom was able to find a food tour of Vancouver, a breathtaking hotel, and tickets to the aquarium. Now that we have fully answered all of the question parts, let's do a question recap. The first two parts of the question read, what interpersonal factors affect the buying decisions made by members of the family, and what personal factors tend to influence these choices? Let's begin with the recap for interpersonal factors. My family aligns with three components: family, culture, and social class. Under the component family, we have a large family of 6, which means that we cannot just sleep or stay anywhere, and that we need transportation that can get us in and out quickly. Lift, we need to know that we can leave the city and come into the city and not get stuck in the city. And finally, cost effective, we need to know that we can get the best experience for our buck. Under culture, we have high safety expectations and local visitor relations. It is highly important to my mom and the rest of our family that we know that wherever we're going, we will be safe. It is also equally as important to know that we will be treated well when we show up. Finally, under interpersonal factors is social class. Due to my dad's successful business, we have been able to travel at a higher class. And so when we travel, we look for high food quality and entertainment that not only gives us a laugh, but stimulates our minds. Let's move over to the personal factors. For personal factors, my family aligned with 4 components: learning, personality, perception, and needs, wants, and motivations. Under learning, we had cleanliness in relation to accommodations. Over the years, my family has learned that it's extremely important to have a clean hotel and a nice hotel. Sometimes paying the extra buck is worth it. Under personality, we have education. My family learned that doing something that's fun and education is worth the buck. It aligns perfectly with our personalities. Perception, under perception we have scenic. It is always important to have a scenic place. If it's scenic, my family is more likely to show up. And then lastly, needs, wants, and motivations. Under that we have budget conscious. My family would love to do everything they possibly could at a location, but we know that we have a budget and that we must stay within it, fulfilling our needs and some of our wants. The last part of the question is, how could a hospitality and travel organization effectively appeal to you and other members of your family? During my presentation, I have explained how NCL expertly uses marketing strategy to market to families with large numbers and offer deals on suites, meal and beverage packages, and off-boat excursions. The website also expertly advertised onboard activities, fascinating entertainment, and fun onboard recreation. This led my mom to book more than one cruise through Norwegian because they lined up with our ideals and the factors that mean most to us. For tourism in Vancouver, I explained how the website marketed the amazing attributes of Vancouver's food scene. There are a large variety of hotels, family fun activities, and tours that connected visitors to the city. The website did this so well that my mom booked our spring break vacation there. Personal and interpersonal factors go hand in hand and ultimately lead to the decisions that we make on a daily basis. The marketing of hospitality companies can either result in an individual selecting a location or walking away from one. It is the job of marketing departments and companies in our field to understand their clients and market to them. I hope that I've fully answered this question to your perspective, and I want to thank you for watching, and I hope that you have an amazing evening.